of our Algor-Win real estate business growth system. Just a little backstory about how this came about. For the last, usually like the end of a year, we work on business planning with real estate agents. And for any agents, whether you're a Lair agent or at a different organization, if you go to lairagentservices.com, you'll see we have a section on there with business planning materials. And always we've used the traditional real estate business planning materials. So end of last year, our leadership council said, why don't we create something that's like a 90-day plan to get agents up and running in their business. So like at the beginning of the year, 90 days, they do these things and their business is going to be moving along. And we started developing that program. And what we realized is that while that was a great program and it got agents started on a journey of success, it didn't maintain a journey of success for those real estate agents. It really set them up so that they could get 5 or 6 transactions. But then once those transactions closed, they were back to square one. So we said, how do we create a new and better system that keeps our agents on track every year, every month, every week, so that they consistently have results and it's not like a 90-day program. Instead, we develop a lifestyle program. I've said before that the real estate business is unique in that it is the real estate business in and of itself is a lifestyle. So you're going to see a lot of stuff built into this program. It is much more than here's how to go do 30 transactions or 30 additional transactions this year. It's here's how to live a real estate agent lifestyle so that you can have 30 plus more transactions each year, but you also can create a wonderful quality of life where you're excited to stay in the business for the long term. And with that, we created the Algor-Win system. Now, before I get started, if you don't have this book yet, I wanted to make it very easy for agents to be able to download it. So if you go to lairrealty.com, that's LAER realty.com/Algor-Win, so ALGOR win, lairrealty.com/Algor-Win. There's a few ways you can get this booklet. Number one, there's a download button. So you can fill out, it asks you a few questions about your business, and that's really for us to kind of monitor who is most interested in having a program like this. But once you fill out that very short questionnaire that takes about 30 seconds, it's going to send you a PDF of the entire guide, which is roughly 100 pages long. From agents that have already started using the program, we had many requests for hard copies of the Algor-Win book. So we have ordered 200 of those. If you want to buy an Algor-Win book, like a hard book that will be shipped to you, there's also a link on there. We are charging $24, which is our cost for getting them printed and shipped to you. But if you're interested in not having something that you have to print out yourself, or you don't want the PDF version, you can order the $24 version. And you can expect to have that by March 1st. So we have not even received them here yet. So we're expecting to receive them next week, and then we'll get them out to those agents that order them. So I'd say March 1st is a good date that you can expect your hard copy of the book. But again, you could just download the PDF and it's the same exact content. So with that, let's dig into what this program is all about. So first of all, I just want to point out, when you download the PDF version of this, all of these are clickable links. So there's 4 parts to the guide. Part 1 is where we kind of set the rules for the program, set the definitions, what it's all about. Part 2 of the guide is the actual checklist, which we'll talk about. Part 3 of the guide is your process tracking sheets. Tracking your processes is a huge piece of this program. And part 4 of this is all the extra stuff that is going to guarantee your success as part of the program. Now, in case some of you, I see we have lots of layer agents. We also have lots of agents that are from all over the country with all different brokerages. And so I want to just say that how we developed this program is we really looked at high performing real estate agents. And we said, it's very interesting. There's basically 3 types of real estate agents out there. First of all, there's those agents that they would like to come to work every day. They'd like to be a very successful real estate agent, but they just don't know what to do. When they get up every day, they lack direction. They're like, I want to do this, but I don't know what to do. And so at the end of the year, their results are not great. They don't meet their goals. The second type of real estate agents are the ones that they get up, they come to the office, and they're doing all kinds of stuff. They're going to training programs, they're meeting with customers, but they're still not having the results that they hoped for. Oftentimes, these agents they're moving in the direction of doing the right things, but with a couple little tweaks on what it is they are doing when they show up, they could have much higher results. So you have the category 1 and the category 2 that really aren't meeting their goals. They're not consistently doing the business they wish to be doing. And then you have the category 3 real estate agents, and you guys all know them. Some of them we have on today's program watching. Those are the agents that it just looks so easy for them. Like, they constantly have new listings and new business, and they go on vacation with their families, and they have time for the gym. And it's the reason why we got into real estate. We say, I want to be that person. And so with this program, we went out and monitored and created a system based on what those 3rd tier real estate agents are doing. What is it that they're doing to create consistent results year in and year out? And with that, we developed the Algor-Win system. So why we call it Algor-Win, it's all based on an algorithm. What we know from studying high performing real estate agents is that super high performers, they're no different than any other real estate agent. It's just that they spend their time focused on a few things that create consistent results for them. So under this program, we said, okay, if any real estate agent goes in and concentrates on these areas consistently, every year, every month, every week, if they have that consistent system, we know that any real estate agent can be as successful. So there is an algorithm to success. An algorithm is a sequence of rigorous instructions typically used to solve problems. So algorithms are typically seen like in computing, like in statistics, that if these inputs go in, these outputs will come out. That's what we're doing here with the success algorithm of real estate. If you complete 100% of the steps of the Algor-Win system, we believe that you will do an additional 30 plus real estate transactions a year, maybe even more. That's if you stick to the system, and that's a pretty bold claim. Most of the business planning programs out there don't promise anything, because with a traditional business planning system, you kind of set goals and say, here's some of the things I'm going to go do to move towards the goal. But sometimes what happens is you start doing those things and you don't see the results right away. And so you stop doing them and you don't meet the goal. This is all very different. The Algor-Win system is a checklist system of things you're going to do yearly, monthly, and weekly, and per transaction. So this program is comprised of 7 different checklists that you will need to come to know, and eventually you're going to know these systems like the back of your hand. What's very interesting is high-performing agents, like those agents that are doing $40, $50, $100 million in business, oftentimes they work off a checklist and they don't even know they work off a checklist because it's ingrained in them. It has become part of their lifestyle, the way they work. But if you look at their businesses, they are highly systematized with each transaction. So their days, their weeks, their years are 100% systematized. That's why you'll see the higher performer agents do consistently go on vacation. They do consistently go to the gym each week, but also per transaction. They're super consistent. And what's interesting is many high performing agents say, I don't have a checklist. I don't use a checklist. But they are working off of a system. It's just become part of who they are. That's the goal with the Algor-Win system. We're going to make it easy. We want you to work and track all of your results for a long time. But what eventually happens is you're not going to have to track the results because the systems become part of who you are. So let's talk about some of the things that will help you grow your business and part of. Whoops, somebody says I froze. Let's see.
You're fine on
Okay,
my
you can
end.
see me okay?
Yep.
An agent was just saying you froze off and we were bumped off. Our agents on?
Yeah, everybody's on here.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to keep plugging along. Hopefully everybody, if anybody has an issue like seeing or technical issues, which we sometimes have with Zoom, just put a note in the chat box and we'll see if we can fix it. Okay, so going back to repetition, consistency. First of all, this program is all about repetition. It is all about consistency, doing things over and over. So that's why we've built in these checklists, but also process tracking sheets. And agents who have already started using the system say, how come you put in here, like, how come I have to include into my program gym or vacation and personal events? Because again, your real estate business is a lifestyle. So we want you to be in it for the long haul. So that means that it all goes together. It's all part of your business. The other thing that's interesting about the checklist systems is you will see that gratitude is a big piece of the system. That's because one thing that's really interesting about high performing agents is we are all energy. As human beings, we are energy. And that means that if you wake up every day and you're grouchy, you're always in a bad mood, you don't really like people, you constantly look at all the things you don't have, you wish you were like your next door neighbor, you wish you were like that real estate agent, you wish you were skinnier, you wish you had more money. If that's how you wake up every day, I guarantee you're not a successful real estate agent. It's not possible to be a successful real estate agent because you are vibrating on a very low frequency. High performing agents vibrate on a very high frequency. They attract business everywhere they go. One of the ways we're going to keep you on a high vibration frequency is with gratitude. So you will see this built into the system. Some of the traps that you will see within this system. First of all, the biggest trap of the system is anything in life that is easy to do is equally easy not to do. So that's a trap. The simplicity of the system. It's so easy to do. Anybody can do the system. None of the checklists are super long. The longest checklist is a 12-step checklist. So the simplicity of the system can be a trap. Distractions are a trap. So one of the biggest expenses on your profit and loss each year is just, what do you get distracted by? What is it that pulls you away from your business? Maybe it's people, maybe it's social media. It can be anything. You got to eliminate distractions. Perfection is also a trap that we see with real estate agents. In other words, we're going to have you, as part of this program, have a nice buyer package, a seller package. Like, nothing has to be perfect from day one, but done is better than perfect. So as you go through the system, even if it's not 100%, like let's just say a marketing piece or a social media piece or a video, that's going to be a big piece of our program. Let's just say something is not quite as good as you would like it to be. Post it anyways, print it anyways, execute anyways. And then over time, you're going to get better and you can continue to perfect and make each piece that you work on, each marketing thing that you do, slightly better. But it doesn't have to be perfect to execute. Excuses are also a trap that you're going to find. You've got to be super careful. High-performing real estate agents don't make excuses for themselves. Their success, your success, is your fault. So ingraining that, realizing that when things don't go quite your way, it's your fault. It's not the outside world. Altering the checklist. All we want to say is that if you alter these checklists, you're altering the system, you're altering the algorithm. We used these checklists and they're based on high-performing real estate agents. Can you go and maybe say, I want to tweak my checklist and do this and this? Absolutely. But it's no longer this algorithm. You're now working on a different algorithm. Control is also a trap. Sometimes agents feel like I have to do everything. I have to do everything. It's okay to give up control. In fact, the only way you can scale your business is to give up some control. That means you can't do everything. You have to let somebody else help you. Sometimes that means giving up control of the work. Maybe let somebody else post your social media for you. But maybe it's at home. It's okay to hire a cleaning person because that's going to free up your time to work on the system. And then follow up. This is a big one. We don't have specific checklists built in here for follow-up campaigns, but you're going to have to be really good at follow-up. And at the end of the book, we have lots of tips and tricks for you to work, like buyer leads, etc. You have to be really good at follow-up. So this is how the system works. It is a checklist that you do each year, a 12-step yearly checklist. Then you're going to have a 9-step monthly checklist. And then you're going to have a 9-step weekly checklist. So those are the main time-based checklists. We have some other checklists as well, such as per transaction, when you're working with an active new buyer, when you have a new seller appointment, when you have a new listing, and when you have a client appreciation event. Those are the 4 other checklists. So there's a total of 7 checklists that you're going to be working on. So that's why you start with the original 3, your 12-step once a year, 9 steps monthly, 9 steps weekly. You start with those to get your business kind of off and running. And then you got to start merging in new business. And the way you merge in new and additional business is by having really good systems for the new listing, the new buyer, the new seller appointment, and your client appreciation checklist. We have included, as part of the program, process tracking sheets. You can download more of these. So if you have the booklet and you just want the sheet alone, you can download these sheets at layerrealty.com/Algor-Win. You'll see a little place where you can just download new checklists or process sheets, as well as the checklist. But this is a real big piece of the system, is tracking your results for everything. The reason for this is so that when you get 3 months, 6 months, 1 year into the system, and you didn't do the 30 transactions that we said you should be doing 30 transactions if you follow all this. If you get 6 months in and you haven't done 15 transactions, go back to these sheets, because where the holes are, you're going to see them. What is the stuff that you're not checking off? Because that is what is inhibiting your results. So let's continue. So for each type of checklist, we have your process tracking sheets. Now, the way the process tracking sheets are is that if you have set up your year correctly, the most important one is the yearly checklist. The yearly checklist says once a year, there's 12 things you must do to set up your business for success. And we'll go through these things, but if you don't set up your business correctly from the start of the year, you are going to diminish your results on all of the other checklists. So what that means is your yearly checklist of 12 items you must do, if you're not completing those, let's just say that you only do 75% of the yearly checklist items. So that's 12 items. You only do 75% of those. That means that you're going to have to work harder than the agent who has set up everything. So I'll go into the math on this a little bit further, but basically on all these checklists that you have, based on what we studied from high producing agents, for every 18 check boxes you make, every 18 boxes you check off on a checklist. So each house you check off is a point. Once you get to 18 points, you can expect to have a sale this year. So for every 18 check marks you make, you can expect to have one additional sale this year. Well, if you're only doing 75% of the yearly checklist, that means that you have to do a little bit of math. That means that instead of you having to check off 18 boxes to expect one sale, you will have to check off 24 boxes to expect one sale. Because if you don't get the yearly items correct, that means it's going to be a little bit harder for you to convert business. The reason for that is because think about this. For example, one of the items that we say you have to do yearly is like Google yourself, and make sure that on the first page of Google that everything looks good. Like, do you have an updated photo of you? Not like a blank picture. Do you have an updated photo? Do you have a nice bio of who you are, why you're in this business? So I always say to agents, like, if you Googled you, would you hire you? This is an important question to ask yourself, because one of the things we have you do once a year is just make sure your online reputation looks really good, because most buyers and sellers, the first thing they're going to do if they are referred to you is Google you. So if you don't have any of that set up, it's just going to be harder for you to get business, which means that's why we've set it up, this little math calculation to say, if you're not set up properly, it's going to be more than 18 check marks for you to expect to have one sale. Stick with these process tracking sheets. So that's why we have extra ones on the website, layerrealty.com/Algor-Win. You can print out just the process tracking sheets. Use those until this becomes a habit. Like I said, once you're closing 30 plus transactions a year, you're probably not going to need to check off every time you do something, because it's going to become part of who you are as a real estate agent. But for now, just check it off so that if you're not getting the results, you can look and see where those holes are. Couple things to know. First of all, substituting things. So sometimes agents will say, well, I don't like doing the videos. So you'll see one of the items on the checklist is doing a video. I don't like doing that, but I'm happy to do 10 of these things. That messes up the algorithm. So we can't, if you're substituting pieces of the checklist, you're now creating your own algorithm. And maybe it's a great algorithm, we don't know, but it's not the algorithm that we created based on studying high performing agents. Number two, if you partially complete an item on the checklist, that doesn't count. So let's just say one of the items on the list is to post a video, and you make a post, but it's not a video. That is not a full completion. And then the other thing we like to just say is that you should be working off a calendar. So we do have a sample weekly calendar that you can download, but any calendar will work. The only way this program actually works is that you have to do a little bit of planning, not a heck of a lot of planning, but you have to plan out each week and each month just to make sure you're getting all the items done within the checklist. Now, let's start looking at these checklists, see how much is involved. So first, we have our Algor-Win yearly checklist. So these are items, 12 items that you're going to do once a year. You're going to set up your database. You're going to have your A list and B lists. You're going to do set it and forget it emails. So you need an email going out to everybody in your database once a month. We have that at Lair. We do training around how to set up your ISAC newsletter. But it can be any, but you need to have an email going out to your database once a month. 3, you have to have a professional photo. Again, the first thing people are going to do as you're building your business, if somebody wants to know who this agent is that was referred to them, they are going to Google you. Get out and invest in a professional photo of yourself and make sure it's on all of your sites. Have a professional bio. Your bio is your resume. It's shocking to me how few real estate agents put any time into making a wonderful bio. We're talking one paragraph, who you are, where you're from, why you're in this business. Like, it's definitely not difficult to do, but that's your resume. If you were applying for a job, which is what we do every time we meet with a buyer or seller, if you were applying for a job, you would want a wonderful resume. You wouldn't show up with a blank piece of paper and say, trust me, I'm really good at what you want to hire me for. No, you'd put some time into it. Sign up for the online lead sources. All of them are in the back of the book so that you have business coming in throughout the year. Create a trusted vendor partner list. I'm not going into all of these in super detail because you guys have the book. You can read each of these and start building your own success. Google you. So this is once a year. Google your name, see what comes up, and start working off that first page. So for example, on the first page for most real estate agents, your realtor.com profile comes up. So realtor.com creates a profile for you. You can go in and update it and put your bio in and your photo in. It doesn't cost anything. Most agents don't, so there's nothing there, and it looks really bad when a customer Googles you and there's nothing in your realtor.com profile. So if that's showing up on the first page of a search, you should update it. Create 3 packages. What does your buyer package look like? What is your seller package? And what does your investor package look like? And these should all, I'd say, have 10 of each of them ready. When you get a new customer, you don't want to be scurrying like, oh my gosh, I have a new customer, I have to go make a package. No, packages should be done at the beginning of the year, have 10 of each, they're all ready, so that with confidence, when you have a client, you're super excited. We tell you what to put in there. All of the stuff is at lairagentservices.com. So this piece should only take you about a half an hour. Create your listing presentation. Once a year, create a killer listing presentation. Once a year, schedule 4 client appreciation events. Client appreciation events don't have to cost you anything. And it's a way to bring potential customers together regularly. Review your expenses and schedule your vacations. All of the highest performing agents take regular vacations throughout the year. Schedule your vacations, because remember, this is more than just a business. This is a lifestyle. This is your life. And real estate is like ingrained. It is part of who you are. So schedule your vacation. So that's your once a year list. Then we have a monthly list. Only 9 items you have to do once a month. So honestly, this can all be done in, I'd say, under 2 hours once a month. Change out your social media covers. By the way, one of the first things that comes up on the first page of your Google when you Google your name is your social media. So change out your social media covers. So when people land on you, they're like, oh, she does he or she does post stuff. Send a mailer. So send out 250 to 500 piece mailer to your sphere, your A and B list, a newsletter, a free CMA postcard, an invitation to a client appreciation event, a new listing, under agreement or sold. Like there's so much. The ROAR report, if you're a layer agent. Interview a business owner and write your blog post. So once a month, we're telling you to get out and interview a business owner. At the back of the book, we give you all the questions to ask. This is not about your blog. Trust me, nobody reads blogs very much. So we're not here saying like you got to be posting to your blog. No, we're saying build relationships with vendors. That is mortgage, title, all of those, the regular ones, but also any business that you do business with. It can be your hairdresser. It could be the local pizza place. It could be the principal of the local school. Get out once a month and do an interview, sit with them one-on-one to get to know them. And the premise of the sit down is that you're going to write an article about them to put on your blog. And by the way, you could put it in your newsletter, etc. But really, you are building a relationship with another human being. And while you're having that sit down, they will ask you about your business. So you are building your sphere of influence. This is why this one is so important. Next up, once a month, you're going to go through all of the referrals that you've gotten and make sure that you are thanking people. Everybody that sends you business, when somebody sends you a lead, not business, not closed business, just a lead, they should get 3 thank yous from you. Probably a call, a video, and a card. Once a month, you're going to prune your database. You're going to have your A list and your B list. At the end of the book, we talk a little bit about how to separate those. Once a month, you're going to add 20 people to your database and marketing campaigns. So once a month, you're going to sit down and say, who are 20 people that I can add to my database and my marketing campaigns? We give you some hints here: open house attendees, new client referrals, online lead sources, vendor partners, appointments, champions. Next, you're going to schedule and plan your open houses. Open houses are key for you to get business. Even if you don't have any listing inventory, other agents within the company have listing inventory. You should be marketing yourself to other listing agents about doing open houses for them. And maybe those agents want to do their own open houses on Saturday and Sunday. Well, create something and say, well, why don't you tell your customer you're going to go above and beyond and you're going to do commuter open houses. And who's going to host that? You. So important that you start marketing yourself as a great agent to host open houses for other agents if you don't currently have the inventory to do that. And then once a month, attend a real estate class. It can be on CMAs, pricing, investors, foreclosures. Just once a month, take a class, and then schedule a fun personal event once a month. A night out at the theater, a sports game, a concert. Like this is the stuff that you get to look forward to each month for your life. Then we have a weekly action checklist. So once a week, you're going to schedule 3 social media posts to 3 platforms. Once a week, you're going to post a video to your social media platforms. Maybe it's a market update, buyer and seller tips, deal of the week, vendor interview, small business review. It can be anything, but put it out onto your social media. Once a week, you're going to go visit 5 people. That is a quick stop by. And don't go empty-handed. At the end of the book, we give you all the resources of like what you could bring as the item that you're going to give them. But 5 times a week, go visit anybody. And even if right now it's just like your family, your cousins, your friends, people you know, why not show up and remind them that I'm in real estate? Who do you know? Do any of your neighbors need some real estate help? Once a week, you're going to write your gratitude list. We talked about this at the beginning. This is about keeping you in a high vibration all the time. So work on the gratitude list once a week. Once a week, you're going to text 10 people. This is past clients or champions. Start with your A-list champions, but it's just a check-in. We give you all the verbiage on this, so don't worry about that. In the last part of the book, we give you all the resources to do all of this. Once a week, you're going to listen to a real estate podcast, because as you listen, it keeps you motivated. You're going to hear what other successful real estate agents are doing. Once a week, you're going to make an outside the comfort zone communication. This means once a week, you're going to call an expired listing, a for sale by owner, somebody that you know wants to sell a house. You're going to call them and get in front of them. And then schedule your weekly gym or diet commitment. And then schedule your weekly healthy soul commitment, like reading, writing, arts, crafts. Easy. This is your weekly checklist. Like I said, I think under 2 hours, you could do it all. And that includes going out and visiting 5 people, which is the piece that probably takes the longest. I think you could probably even do it all in 1 hour. Okay, let's get into, oh, by the way, we don't have daily checklists. Why? Because the daily is when the work gets done. So we only have weekly and monthly and yearly checklists. And then the rest of the time is scheduled for you to go out and work customers. All right, next up, we have new buyer checklists. So we have checklists for new buyers, new listing appointments, client appreciation events, and new listings. So new seller appointments and new listings. The reason is all 4 of those are opportunities to get more business, to check off more boxes, to get more business. So we've created, all of these are 9 steps. So for a new buyer, you've got to do your buyer needs assessment, signatures, get a pre-approval, put them into a property search like a Real Scout, pre-book your appointments. This is really interesting. When you look at high-performing agents, they don't just say like, tell me when you want to go look at a house that you like. No. They control the schedule. They say, okay, I've got a new buyer, and they set the expectation. They said, our goal is to help you find a property in the next 4 weeks. So every Saturday at 3:00, we're going to go look at properties. You are scheduled in my calendar for Saturdays at 3:00 for the next 4 weeks. And then now you've set the expectation that they're going to buy something. And then you set up a system for letting them tell you which properties they want to go look at. Got to have a buyer presentation. We have a list of things for you to do at showing appointments. Give them your buyer package. You already have that created because you did that as part of your yearly checklist. And then send handwritten cards after you meet them, after your first showing, after the first offer, when encouragement is needed, upon offer, upon loan closing, upon approval, and upon closing. We also have seller appointment checklists. So again, each of these 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are the 9 things that you need to do in order to create new business out of every new seller appointment. So it goes through all the steps, from having a really great seller questionnaire, the listing contracts and forms, doing a well-prepared market analysis, using high vibration words when you speak to people. We're not going to use the word contract. We're going to use the word agreement. We're not going to use the word commission. We're going to use the word investment. We're not going to tell people to sign. We're going to ask them to endorse. We're not going to use the word problem. We're going to use the word opportunity. So there's lots of things like that. These all increase your odds of creating a win for the seller. You're going to do a marketing plan. You're going to do all the due diligence so that you stand out. Here's all the things you kind of want to cover in your seller presentation, your listing presentation. Review and memorize common ways to overcome objections. All this is at the end of the book. And then you're going to follow up with a thank you, like a thank you gift, maybe like a plant after the meeting. We then have your Algor-Win new listing checklist. This is all the stuff you're going to do once you have a new listing. So the last one was just for the appointment. You got a new seller appointment. this is all the things you're going to do once you have the new listing. Number one, hands down, zero question. You are not making yourself stand out if you're using iPhone photos. Get out with a professional photographer on every listing, even if it's a $50,000 condo. Spend time on your property description. Like when somebody trusts you with their house, you want professional photography. You want to spend more than 5 minutes writing a property description. If you're not good at it, there's AI that does it, like Boo AI or Nyla Jane. Send out your just listed, just sold mailing. Send out a blast email announcement to your database of your new listing. Create and post a listing video, even if it's just you walking through the house, giving all of your followers a tour. You're going to post your new listing to social media. We have all the milestones. You're going to host open houses. We have 3 pages of how to host a killer open house, because the open house is going to get you more business if it's done properly. And properly does not mean printing out a listing sheet from the MLS and standing at the door not talking to anybody as they come in. We've written guidelines for how you turn those open houses into an Algor-Win. And then paid social marketing campaign. We do that for you at Lair. So your AdWorks campaign is already done. If you're at another brokerage, you got to have some sort of paid social marketing campaign, and then weekly seller updates. And we have links to all this at the end of the book. And then we have your client appreciation event checklist. This is a big part of the program, is that you do 4 client appreciation events per year. Shouldn't cost you anything. That's the biggest objection. Agents say, I can't afford a client appreciation event. You can't afford not to have a client appreciation event. There's actually little to no investment by you. This is something that your partners can assist with, like your mortgage or title partners. And we've given you all types of events. We've given you the blueprint for hosting and turning these events into additional business. These are going to start feeding you additional business. So those are all the checklists. Now we got to track to make sure we're doing all the stuff. So as you remember, the first thing is you have to set up your year for success. That means those initial 12 items, set your year up for success. If you don't do all 12 items on the annual checklist, that means you have to work harder. You have to check off more boxes on your monthly, weekly, and per transaction checklist than agents who have completed all 12 steps. Because basically you are handicapping yourself. For example, if you are not using, like if somebody Googles your name and you do not have a professional photo and you don't have a bio, right off the bat, you're making your business harder on you. It's going to be more difficult for you than an agent who has done all these things to set themselves up for success. So you're going to do this initial math if you didn't do all 12 steps of the annual program. Once that's done, you're going to have a number. So for agents that do all 12 steps of the annual checklist, the yearly checklist, then for every 18 houses you check off on these checklists, you can expect to close 1 transaction this year. So for example, it could be on the monthly checklist, it could be on the weekly checklist, and it can be on the per transaction or client appreciation checklist. But for every 18 that you check off, you should expect to have 1 transaction sold. If, for example, you only did 75% of the items on the annual checklist, that means that you're going to have to do 24 transactions or 24 checks in order to expect to sell 1 house each year. So, I'm sorry, 1 house for each 24 items that you check. So we have all the scorecards, and if you look at the very top of the scorecard, you'll see we match these. So if you look, all of these little icons match the checklist items. So we have the monthly process score, Then we have your weekly process score, and right at the top, it tells you like it's quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. Then we have your new buyer score sheets, so you can keep track of these, and your new seller appointment score sheets, and your new listing process score sheets. So that is all of your score sheets. Now we'll take you to the very end of the book, which is part 4 of the book. This is all the support tools to help you accomplish your mission for the year. These are all the things, like these are minimum standards of agent. So I would go through these. This is a really important part of the book because it's going to propel you even faster. So go through what are the minimum standards for building a great real estate business. And it's little things. For example, high-performing real estate agents typically answer their phones. That sounds so tiny. It sounds so small, like you got to answer your phone. But I've been in the business now for 20 years, and I can tell you if I call 10 real estate agents right now, if I randomly call 10 real estate agents, my expectation is that one will answer the phone. Roughly 90% let it go to voicemail because they screen the calls. But high-performing real estate agents typically answer their phone when a phone call comes in. So it's little things like that. So read through the minimum standards and look for areas where you can enhance your performance. We then have a few pages here on how to build that database, because that's one of the things we say to set yourself up for success on the yearly checklist is to build your database. So we tell you like who to put into the database if you have nothing. If you're starting from zero, who do you put into the database? The best way to start is assume that you're getting married. If you were planning your own wedding right now, put all the people that you would invite to your own wedding, and then we'll build it from there. But we have lots of people that we've listed here so that you can start building it. If you click these links, if you're a layer agent, we have some training programs on how to set up your ISACs database so that it's very easy. We love ISACs because of its super ease of use. It does not have a million bells and whistles, because bells and whistles do become distractions for many agents, and those distractions sometimes cause them not to set up the database at all. ISAC is a very simple database. Then it talks about considering an A list and a B list. Now, if you have a very small database, then everybody is just your A list. But over time, you're going to want to spend a little more time focusing on the agent, on the customers that keep sending business your way. So we have some suggestions here on how to create your A list and your B list. Your online reputation. This is part of the yearly checklist. We say, hey, if you Googled you, would you hire you? One of the great classes we put together towards the end of last year was called The Art of War in a Repositioning Market. Click on this link, Art of War in a Repositioning Market, and it will take you to that class. We then have hints and tips for your social media. There is once a year, we tell you to sign up for as many lead platforms as possible. So if you're here, I would go down the left side of this list, which is all referral fee-based lead platforms, and sign up for every single one, so that throughout the year you have leads coming in. Some of them you might get nothing. Some of them you might get 1 or 2, but no matter what, like set yourself up for success. Go through each one. If there's a waiting list, add yourself to the waiting list, but sign up for each of the referral fee-based lead platforms. Okay, one of the minimum standards to increase your success is a follow-up campaign for new leads. You have to be really good especially for cold leads. If you're getting cold leads as part of your business, you need to have a 10-day follow-up campaign. So we've created that for you. It's in here. So we tell you what to say, call, email, text, etc. Over a 10-day period. And we've given you everything to say during that time period. And also, we say one of the parts of the program is making these uncomfortable communications like regular expired or FSBO calls once a week. That's nothing. That's like once a week calling on an expired listing or for sale by owner. You have so much value to bring to the table. So we tell you how to talk to the expired listing. Same with for sale by owners. We give you the scripts on exactly what to say when you do make those calls. So we have a couple different options in there. One of the pieces of the program, if you'll remember, on one of the checklists, it says that you have to text 10 clients each week, past customers, friends and family, champions, people who send you business. Here's what to say. So we wrote out like some little short scripts on what to say when you're texting. Then we have our words of wisdom, high vibration words, low vibration words, because as you will recall in the checklist for your listing appointments, we want to keep each appointment that you're on high vibration. So these are, you'll want to start practicing using high vibrational words, because definitely the words you use can lower the vibration of an appointment. We talk about doing pop buys or stop buys 5 per week and not to go empty-handed. So just bring a small item of value. And we give you these little ideas, like bring cookies with a little card that says, no matter how the cookie crumbles, you're the best part of my business. Or bring fortune cookies, wishing you good fortune in the new year. So just lots of little like sayings to include. So you have a cute little $1 to $2 item that you could stop by at somebody's house. One of the things that you will have to become very skilled at this year, specifically 2023, is talking about the market and interest rates and why now is still a good time to buy, even though the interest rates are significantly higher than what they were a year ago. So we've created all the dialogue about how to speak about today's market within this guide. How to manage expectations to close more transactions. So this is an important piece because high performing agents are phenomenal at managing the expectations of their clients from the very start. If you manage expectations well, you're going to end up with happier clients. So we talk about here how to do that. Giving clients seller updates, and we give you a Canva template link for giving seller updates. Social media, what to post about. We talk about the interviews, you will recall, because the interview is really about building a relationship with the vendor. But we tell you exactly how to do the interviews. Some of the essential learning classes that we think are important for building your business. And then technology that it's important, in our opinion, to learn how to use because it will complement your business. And then we did a whole section, there's like 4 or 5 pages here on how to properly price a house. We did that because if you got into the business in the last 3 years, you didn't necessarily have to know how to price a house because the sellers were telling us what the price, what to put the house on the market for. We put it on the market and it sells. But as we head into the new market, you will need to understand how to do comps and how to price out a property. So we have a whole section on pricing and CMAs. And what to include in a listing presentation, what to put in a marketing plan, which is part of the listing appointment, And then I mentioned we have like a multi-page document on how to have killer open houses. Killer open houses are how you're going to generate even more business. So we created 4 or 5 pages here on how to host an amazing open house. And on the very last page of the booklet, there's like a schedule. If you need a schedule to work off of each week, we've created an example one here. So that is basically the entire program. I do want to just give you a quick overview, hold on, of everything. We have a quick video to show you. And then make sure you go download all the guide and all the documents that go with it. And we're always interested in hearing about your results. So if you have some wins with the program, we want to know about your wins. Please share them with us. All right, let me see if I can share my screen. And we only have a couple more minutes, but let's see.
Real estate sales is not an easy business. There are 3 types of real estate agents. First, there are real estate agents who flounder because they simply have no direction. That is, they are unsure of what steps to take each day to create new business. They want to show up for their business each day, but they simply do not know what to do when they do show up. Second, there are those agents who work diligently morning to night, attending classes and meetings, perfecting their marketing pieces, and constantly reminding their social media followers that they are real estate agents, only to end up with discouraging results. Buyers and sellers who don't seem committed, or worse, no buyers and sellers at all. They show up for their business each day, but the work they are doing does not create results. Third, there are agents who seem to magically attract business everywhere they go. They post a video on social media and miraculously, they get a new buyer. They go to dinner at a local restaurant and they bump into a stranger who needs to sell their home. These agents even go on vacation throughout the year, and the business simply keeps coming. These agents close 20, 30, 100 plus transactions, and they make it look so easy. What category do you? Most agents fall into categories 1 and 2, but they really want to be in the 3rd category. This year could be your turn to create that wonderful real estate business that grows month after month, year after year. It is your turn to build a sustainable career that offers you and your loved ones that quality of life you deserve. Are you ready? Let's go. Agents that close 30 plus transactions a year are no different than you. They simply have systems and processes that they follow each month, each week, and on each client appointment and transaction. Their systems are a basic success algorithm. An algorithm is a process or set of rules to be followed in order to create a determined result. Successful agents have cracked the code to the real estate success algorithm. We have too. Introducing Algor-Win. Follow the algorithm to win business. Algor-Win is a real estate business growth system. It was designed by studying those 3rd category agents who close 30, 50, or even hundreds of transactions each year. We cracked the code to their success and created a simple system that any real estate agent can follow to create concrete business results. Hear how the Algor-Win system works. There are 7 easy-to-follow checklists. 3 of the checklists give agents specific direction for the year, the month, and the week. The yearly Algor-Win checklist is a simple 12-step process for preparing your business for the year. The monthly Algor-Win checklist includes a 9-step process for agents to execute on monthly to create results. The weekly Algor-Win checklist is also a 9-step process, giving agents directions for their business every week. The best part of these directional checklists are that they focus not just on business, but also on your energy, your health, your well-being, and personal time. Building a great business means building an enjoyable and sustainable lifestyle. And so your wonderful new life is incorporated into the system. The other 4 checklists give agent-specific transactional, client, and event coordination direction. These checklists are as follows. The Algor-Win New Seller Appointment Action Checklist, a 9-step process for winning a listing every time you have a seller appointment. The Algor-Win New Buyer Action Checklist, a 9-step process for turning each buyer appointment into a closed sale and a lifetime of new business. The Algor-Win New Listing Action Checklist, a 9-step process for turning every listing into a sale, as well as into a source of additional business. The Algor-Win Client Appreciation Event Action Checklist, a 9-step process for hosting incredible, low-investment, high-return events that feed your business all year long. That's it. The success algorithm is that simple. 7 easy-to-follow checklists to become one of those agents who attract new business year-round. You will soon become one of those agents who take vacations, focuses on health and well-being, and closes transactions consistently all year long. The best part is, the Algor-Win system includes a 90-page Algor-Win guide, which includes the 7 simple checklists, easy-to-use tracking sheets, so that you can hold yourself accountable to the system, and an entire best practices section so that you can enhance and improve results every week, every month, every year, and with every new client and transaction. Your best life already exists. It's yours for the taking. You are one simple algorithm away from having the life and business you desire. It's all just an Algor-Win away.
All right, that is it. I want to thank everybody for joining us for our Algor-Win program today. We're going to be rolling out some additional resources, Facebook groups, etc., for agents that want to work together to hold each other accountable to the system. And as always, we would love any feedback and success stories that you have so that we can continue to improve the program. So with that, thank you, everybody, and have a great weekend.